Hi, do you remember me? I'm Tressa, and I married that Arthur Manwaring guy. Remember him? He went on a mission and everything, and after we got married, and we moved up to Idaho and got a farm and started our family and moved into town a little bit on the Meridian Street house, and we're still there. And we've got a few kids now. This is our oldest, if you remember, Marie, and then Holly, and then Wanda, and then Basil, and then Rondo. So far we have. And we just like living there in Blackfoot in town. And Arthur and I would often sing, like in church or at weddings or funerals, stuff like that, and just parties and stuff. And we sang pretty well together. When people said we sounded really good together, it worked out. And we did, and we were both pretty good at it. Sometimes Arthur would decide how a song should be sung, but I actually studied music, and he didn't. So I think I know how the song should sound, just so you know. I know what it sounds like. Anyway, so I would have the kind of say in that. And so we got a car, and Arthur and I, we got a car for our family because we just kind of had a horse and buggy, and we got a car, and Arthur could drive it, and these cars, I guess, are kind of nice. And he said, "Come on, I want to know how to drive the car." And so he tried to teach me how to drive it. And there's, oh my goodness, there's so many little things in here. How are you supposed to keep track of all this? And we were, we got some of the kids in the back, and he taught me how to drive a car, just drive down the road, and I was driving down the road, turned up, and went in the borrow pit. Oh my goodness, we almost crashed. And we stopped. Oh, I've never driven a car yet. Oh my goodness. What in the world? What are these fancy things supposed to do? Cars, a horse wouldn't drive right off the road like that. What are you supposed to do here? We were all right, but I didn't drive very much. As I got older, I finally, okay. I learned how to drive, got to church and stuff like that. I could do that, but I don't know about cars. That's me. I'm a little old. That's my son's car. I guess I got pretty good at it. I'm pretty proud of myself. I learned how to, more or less, anyway. Anyway, so that was the adventures with these newfangled contraptions called cars. Cars is what they're called. And so, anyway, remember, I don't know if you remember that I was saving up for a piano, and I was getting some money together, all the money that I could, and saving all I could, and we were, we could use that money. Arthur would just remind me every year when he went to buy seed for the farm and stuff, and we could use that money. And I thought he had nerve. I'm buying a piano. We're saving this money. And finally, in about 1922, I traded an old organ that I had, which was okay, and all the money I had saved. And there was a guy who came to Idaho Falls, Mr. Chesbro, and he started selling pianos, and he sold a lot of things. And he would put pianos on his horse and cart and kind of take them out to the surrounding area where we lived and sell them. And he was just kind of traveling salesman that way. But he had a store in Idaho Falls, and I bought my piano finally. I finally got a piano in our house. And oh, I was so glad to have that. And I used it, and it was so worth all that money. And even Arthur had to admit, okay, yeah, it was nice to have a piano in the house. We had another little girl named Teresa Lorraine. And we thought she was just the cutest baby ever. All babies are cute, but she was so cute, and we were so happy to have her. And also, in our little house that we had, Arthur's dad came and lived with us. That is Grandpa Herbert. Do you remember him? He's getting a little older. That's what he looks like now. and he's been doing temple work for all his ancestors, English ancestors that never came to America. And he went to St. George and just stayed there for a while, and he did temple work. And he came in and lived with us, and we were happy to have him. He was a very nice old man. And if you remember, he was a little deaf. He got struck by lightning when he was younger. That's that guy that got struck by lightning. He couldn't hear very well, and he always felt bad about that. He'd tell, sorry, I can't hear you. We have to repeat ourselves. And I said, oh, Grandpa Herbert, don't you worry about it. We've got 6 kids. If you could hear just fine, you couldn't stand the commotion. You think 6 kids are quiet? Think again. So I told him not to worry about it. But we were glad to have him with us. And we had a good house there on our little Meridian Street. And Arthur put up a swing in back for us and for the kids, but we decided to play on it one day, so that's Arthur and me. We're just standing on the swing. Can you see it right there and the rope going up? We were just playing on it. We could play on it too. That's okay. We like that. And Arthur and I started getting a little older. We're getting a little older in years. And Arthur would always wake up early in the morning before anybody else was up, and he liked to read. We had some good books, and he would just read his books early in the morning, and then he'd go into work and stuff. And he was excited. He said, son, I'm gonna retire someday, and the farm will, the boys can run the farm. We've got some boys, they can run the farm, and when I retire, and I'm gonna achieve something in my life. I'm gonna build something great with all the studying that I'm doing. I know a lot of men make their mark on the world after about 60 years old, and that's what I plan to do. And so he would get up early and study, and he did pretty well. He studied a lot. It was good for him. But he had a stroke. And he wasn't even that old yet. He was 56 years old. Arthur was. And when you have a stroke, it's like a heart attack is? And so a stroke is like kind of like a brain attack, sort of. It happens in your brain, and it's not good. And so, and Arthur had a stroke, and he could hardly do anything. Like his body just kind of stopped working. And he had to stay in bed. He just had to stay in bed. And we would just take care of him. We had to take care of him and help him eat and do all kinds of stuff. Just he couldn't do it anymore. And that was really hard. And our oldest kids were married, and Basil, our son, was on a mission. And when this happened, and he got an honorable release from his mission, and he came home from his mission to help take care of things. We had Rondo and Lorraine still at home, and Basil came home from his mission, and we took care of Arthur. And it was because Arthur knew he couldn't do anything, and it was frustrating for him, and we tried to do what we could for him, but that was all we could do. And he died. About 8 months after staying in bed, he died. That was Arthur. We're gonna miss him. But we have a good family, and I am so glad I have my kids around here still, and we can have fun. And I just I went back to work. Because I used to work at a store, remember, when Arthur was on a mission, and I went back to work at JCPenney store. I went back to work there, and I also, I played with my grandkids, because we were starting to get a bunch of grandkids now, and I used to play with my grandkids and just have so much fun. And we would, that's me and 2 of my granddaughters, and here's some more of my grandkids. We would just play, and I'd love playing with my grandkids. And we would have Thanksgiving dinner with all the family that we could. We'd have a big dinner with all of our family. And we would have family reunions in Toffus Park in Idaho Falls. We're getting to be a big family, aren't we? And we would have singing time at our reunions. That's me and my son, Holly. That's at a family reunion. And we would have more Thanksgivings, and we had to go to a church because we were so big. We had so many people. So we did it in a church. And we also had a dress up. And we were called kind of grandma parties. I was a grandma, and we would have a dress up. And we would just have all the kids could come, and we would do it too, and pick out what you wanted to dress up in and stuff like that. And we would play games and sing and just kind of have fun like that. It was great. And it was a lot of fun. And also, let me just tell you real quick that that son of mine, Basil, that came home from his mission, that's what he looks like. And he started a business, and it's called Manwaring Cheese. Have you ever been to Manwaring Cheese? That's him. He started it. And he started Manwaring Cheese. Oh, everybody loved our cheese curds. They're good. So that was my family and my family life. I have loved telling you about them. I hope to see your family someday.